Assalamualaikum. Beberapa minggu lalu terjadi sebuah blunder dari seorang ulama Islam terkemuka yang hingga kini menjadi topik hangat di jagat maya. Blunder tersebut terjadi ketika Muhammad Hijab mewawancarai Dr. Yasir Qadhi secara live dan ditonton banyak orang. Dalam wawancara tersebut secara terang-terangan Dr. Yasir Qadhi mengakui bahwa narasi tradisional Islam tentang pemeliharaan Al-Quran memiliki kelemahan besar dan tidak mampu menjawab tantangan fakta-fakta ilmiah yang diajukan akademisi barat. Ini berarti mitos yang selama ini dipercaya nyaris semua muslim bahwa Al-Quran murni terjaga 100% dari segala perubahan dan kesalahan demi kebenaran harus diakhiri karena tidak dapat bertahan melawan fakta-fakta yang semakin banyak terungkap. Begitu fatalnya kesalahan tersebut sehingga Muhammad Hijab segera memotong sebagian isi wawancara dari video di channelnya tidak lama setelah wawancara tersebut berakhir. Tapi itu tindakan yang sia-sia, karena banyak orang yang sudah mendownload videonya. Dan ironisnya, upaya untuk menyembunyikan kesalahan fatal tersebut hanya membuat video wawancara yang blunder itu semakin populer dan dibahas di mana-mana. Berikut akan saya tampilkan kutipan dari wawancara fatal tersebut. Terus tonton video ini hingga akhir karena saya akan menjelaskan mengapa kesalahan tersebut berakibat fatal dan akan ikut berperan pada keruntuhan Islam yang sudah mulai tampak tanda-tandanya.
Every single student of knowledge knows, who studies Ulum al-Quran, that the most difficult topics are ahruf and qira'at, and the concept of ahruf and the reality of ahruf and the relationship of the Uthmanic Mus'haf with the ahruf and the preservation of the ahruf. Is it 1? Is it 3? Is it 7? And the relationship of the qira'at to the ahruf. This is a topic that when you're the beginning student of knowledge, you're like, what is all of this going on here? When you go a little bit more, you learn to simply memorize what your teachers say and regurgitate it out. And you don't fully comprehend. When you do a deep dive is when things get very, very awkward and difficult. And this isn't new. This is from the time of the Sahaba. This is not a joke, brothers and sisters. The issue of ahruf and qira'at caused confusion to somebody whom the Prophet ﷺ said, if you want to listen to the Quran directly, listen to Ubay. Ubay is not some even average Sahabi. He is the Qari of the Quran. He is the master. He is who he is. And he goes, فَدَخَلْ فِي نَفْسِي شَكْ. What is all of this stuff? Again, this is you're asking some very honest question. It's the first time I'm saying these things. Many people are aware who listen to my lectures that I've mentioned the crises that happened to me at Yale. This was the issue. That the issue of ahruf and preservation and qira'at and relationships between them, these are very, very difficult issues. And the most advanced of our scholars, they're not quite fully certain how to solve all of the unanswered questions in there. Here's the point. These issues should only be discussed amongst people who know what the qira'at are and who understand some of these questions that are being raised.
So is what you're saying the shak that came, or not the shak, but the crisis that you had was in relation to this question of the relationship between the ahruf and the qira'at, basically?
No. The crisis I had wasn't that. The crisis I had was, that was what generated. But what was the crisis? The crisis was very simple. Traditional understandings of ahruf and qira'at cannot answer some of these pressing questions that are now being poked by our people outside of, by our academics, by their academics outside of the faith tradition. You see, in a Muslim environment, there's always some respect that we have for the Quran. We should. In a Muslim environment, we'll press a little bit and then we'll say, okay, khalas, sami'na wa ata'na. And that's great, alhamdulillah. When you go to academia, they don't have that red line. And they're going to just, the famous story of the emperor with no clothes. They're going to just point out, no, that doesn't make any sense. Well, that's not true, and this and that. And they'll bring issues, which I'm not going to mention explicitly, that you know are true because they're in your own books. They're not inventing anything new. They'll bring you riwayat, and they'll bring you athar, and then you add to that very well-known issues of, I don't even want to be explicit. And then you bring on top of that makhtutat, and then. And it's very clear to you and to every single very advanced student and specialist that the standard narrative has holes, that the standard narrative has holes, that the standard narrative has holes in it. That's what I'm going to say. The standard narrative does not answer some very pressing questions. These are now well known within the Western Academy, that they're bringing forth issues. Their level of now knowledge is leaps and bounds above what it used to be, 100 years ago. What is happening in the last few years is not me anymore. It's the Western academics. These problems are now becoming mainstream. And by and large, our ulama in the Eastern world are not aware, by and large, of what's going on in the Western side of things. And they're not answering those questions in a manner that it needs to be answered.
Barusan kita sama-sama melihat bagaimana Dr. Yasir Qadhi akhirnya mengakui bahwa narasi tradisional Muslim tentang Al-Quran, tentunya yang dimaksud adalah klaim-klaim tradisional yang menganggap Al-Quran 100% terjaga kemurniannya dari sejak zaman Muhammad hingga hari ini, memiliki lubang besar. Artinya, klaim tersebut tidak lagi bisa dipertanggungjawabkan secara akademis dan ilmiah. Ini tentu menjadi pukulan besar bagi setiap Muslim yang mengimani Al-Quran sebagai kitab suci terakhir yang paling terjaga. Itu berarti kebohongan Islam tidak lama lagi akan terungkap dengan jelas di mata banyak orang dan akhirnya semua orang tahu Islam hanyalah agama palsu. Selama ini sudah banyak kebohongan Al-Quran yang dibahas secara publik, tapi Muslim tetap percaya karena mereka meyakini kebenaran Al-Quran. Misalnya yang paling jelas adalah surah An-Nisa 157 yang mengatakan Yesus tidak wafat di kayu salib. Itu jelas bertentangan dengan fakta Alkitab dan juga fakta-fakta sejarah. Tapi Muslim tetap percaya pada kebohongan yang mencolok tersebut karena mereka masih meyakini Al-Quran sebagai kitab suci yang paling benar dan paling terjaga kemurniannya. Sekarang ketika mitos keterjagaan Al-Quran mulai digugat dan tidak dapat bertahan terhadap fakta-fakta yang ada, apa yang menjadi pegangan Muslim untuk tetap mempercayai kebohongan-kebohongan Al-Quran? Praktis sudah tidak ada lagi. Bayangkan bagaimana jika fakta ini tersebar dan menjadi pengetahuan mainstream di kalangan Muslim. Mereka tidak mungkin lagi percaya kebenaran surah An-Nisa 157 dan menolak percaya Al-Quran secara keseluruhan. Selanjutnya, mereka akan mulai percaya bahwa Yesus sungguh wafat di kayu salib demi penebusan dosa manusia seperti yang dinyatakan dalam iman Kristen. Tidak lama lagi akan terjadi gelombang tsunami murtad dan Muslim rame-rame akan percaya pada Yesus sebagai Tuhan dan Penyelamat. Pengakuan dari Dr. Yasir Qadhi dalam video tadi adalah salah satu tanda bagaimana kebohongan Islam tidak mungkin bertahan dari gempuran arus informasi yang begitu deras. Saya akan membahas masalah ini lebih jauh di video-video berikutnya. Agar tidak ketinggalan, jangan lupa subscribe dan klik notifikasi. Wassalam.